The crowd's roar filled the arena as the chutes swung open and the bull exploded out, spinning and kicking frantically. Sitting atop 1,500 pounds of raging muscle and sinew was a lean, focused cowboy, his gloved hand clenched tight on the bull rope. Amadeu Campos Silva held on for dear life, his lithe body absorbing the bone-jarring bucks and gyrations of the massive beast beneath him. 8 seconds stretched into an eternity as man and bull battled, the crowd screaming encouragement. With a final mighty kick, the bull sent Silva, but not before he reached back and grabbed a fistful of fur. He had made the buzzer. The crowd went wild as Silva jumped to his feet, fist pumping triumphantly. This was Silva's element, and he was born to be here. Until one fateful day, on 2021, when the cheers of the crowd turned to silent gasps of horror. What happened to this professional bull rider during a freak accident? Amadeu Campos Silva stepped up the metal rails and eased down into the bucking chute, a familiar ritual he had done countless times before. At just 22 years old, Amadeu was already an accomplished bull rider, pursuing his dreams on the professional rodeo circuits across Brazil and the United States. As he situated himself atop the bull named Classic Man, Amadeu had no way of knowing this ride on August 29, 2021, would be his last. If ever there was an inspirational bull riding story of the American dream, it belongs to Amadeu Campos Silva. Silva was born September 1, 1998, in the small rural town of Altair, Brazil. Nestled amongst the sugarcane fields of Sao Paulo, Altair had a population barely over 4,000, but it's where Amadeu first discovered his love for bull riding. Amadeu was a dreamer even before he started competing as a bull rider. He was 7 years old when he approached a ranch owner in Brazil in search of work. Amadeu may have always been a somewhat shy little boy, but he was extremely polite and could become friends with anyone. The 7-year-old had learned his family was about to be evicted from their home, and he wanted to see if he could help milk the cows on the ranch so that his family could live in an empty house that he saw on the property. The owner approached Amadeu's parents and asked if this was true, and he decided to give the family work and a home. This was the start of Amadeu's passionate love of family, hard work, and dedication to helping to provide. When Amadeu was just 16 years old, he climbed atop his first bull, encouraged by his father Flavio, who was a bull rider himself. Flavio passed down his knowledge and passion for the demanding sport onto Amadeu, coaching his son tirelessly so he could develop the skills needed to tame these massive beasts and eventually become a professional athlete in the arena. I would see him sometimes at the gym and with his daddy. He was a little shy, but he was a funny guy. He was really good at soccer. He was so friendly, and he had a special energy around him. He was progressing in his riding, and he was getting so good, colleague João Ricardo Vieira said. Amadeu quickly distinguished himself amongst his peers, demonstrating both raw talent and relentless work ethic. By 2018, he was runner-up at the prestigious Liga Nacional de Rodeo Championship in Brazil. The next year, Amadeu placed second at the Brazilian Professional Bull Riding Finals, an incredible result that propelled the young rider into the spotlight. The slow march to a freak bull riding accident had begun. The strong finishes earned Amadeu invites to exclusive events where he'd get to test himself against famous American riders he'd only ever seen on TV before. His Brazilian colleagues remember Amadeu being thrilled to simply be around his idols. Wide-eyed but undaunted, Amadeu was determined to prove he could ride with the best cowboys in the world. In 2019, Amadeu finally achieved his lifelong goal of moving to America to compete full-time on the professional bull riders circuit. Saying goodbye to family, friends, and the country he grew up in wasn't easy, but 20-year-old Amadeu was ready to do whatever it took to succeed as a bull rider. His parents moved with him to work on a ranch in Texas, supporting their son's career and helping him train as often as possible. His daddy made him a strong worker, and he wanted to see him be a world champion. João Ricardo Vieira said, "Every day he would teach his son to be better, and he would tell him, 'Your ability is so special.' That meant traveling from state to state, battling brutal buck-offs, broken bones, and strained muscles. It meant overcoming language barriers and adapting to an entirely foreign culture, thousands of miles from home. It meant relentlessly training his body and sharpening his skills, even when painful injuries tried to get in his way. Leaving his home country also allowed Amadeu to surround himself with some of Brazil's top riders who knew this challenging lifestyle. Fellow cowboys like José Vitor Leme, Adriano Salgado, and Marcelo Pereira welcomed their friend with open arms and mentorship when he settled in Texas in 2020. They'd play intense games of soccer on the ranch to hone their athleticism and forge trust on the field that translated directly into the bucking chutes. Gathering around the dinner table, they swapped stories about home, laughed at inside jokes, and recounted their wildest, "I can't believe I rode that bull" tales from recent rodeos. During his first year competing on American soil, these friends became Amadeu's family. Their undying belief in Amadeu's abilities gave him the strength to keep pushing forward despite setbacks. Transitioning to the ultra-competitive American PBR scene didn't happen overnight for Amadeu. While flashes of brilliance occasionally resulted in high scores, the Brazilian rider found himself near the bottom of the leaderboards more often than not. Frustrated, but not deterred, Amadeu put his nose to the grindstone while waiting for his big break. Long hours training at the gym kept his body conditioned to ride rank bulls, even when his shoulder violently dislocated mid-ride. In these agonizing moments that left others unable to continue, Amadeu would casually pop his arm back into place, then get on another bull minutes later, fueled purely by grit. Justin McBride, a former world champion who coached Amadeu at the 2020 Monster Energy Team Challenge, was flabbergasted by this relentless passion for bull riding, even during extreme pain. "I don't know if I've ever seen anybody like that. It's pretty crazy because I had dislocated shoulders in my career, and they hurt. To see somebody have one come out the first jump of a ride and then get back on a bull is something people will never be able to comprehend," McBride remarked. Entering the final events of the 2020 season, Amadeu set his sights on a single goal: qualify for the PBR World Finals no matter what. For any rider, just reaching this championship event is considered a tremendous milestone in a career. Amadeu was no exception, but lingering shoulder injuries from multiple dislocations threatened to destroy his dream if he didn't address it immediately. Doctors urged the brave Brazilian to get surgery, warning that wearing down his shoulder further could cause permanent damage. Lesser cowboys would have called it quits, conceding to fight another year once healthy. But Amadeu? He refused to let anything sabotage his goal of representing Brazil at the PBR's biggest stage. Amadeu's dream was to win enough money as a bull rider so that he could buy his family a ranch in Brazil, possibly the exact same one where he offered to milk cows, and give his parents and sister Livia a thank you for being his biggest supporters and advocates in the sport. Yet another shoulder dislocation during round 2 of the World Finals finally forced Amadeu out of the competition, but he exited the arena with his head held high. Through sheer force of will and a pain threshold beyond comprehension, Amadeu Campos Silva realized his vision of becoming a PBR World Finals rider. True to his unrelenting drive, Amadeu wasted no time beginning rehabilitation after double shoulder surgery repaired both worn joints. He endured grueling physical therapy sessions without complaint, demonstrating the same stoic resilience when relearning how to throw a rope or lift weights properly. Just 9 months later, Amadeu was back climbing onto angry bulls at professional events, while slowly rebuilding lost strength and mobility. His return to competition in August 2021 proved he hadn't lost an ounce of grit during recovery. Fans and commentators alike buzzed about this tenacious comeback, eager to see the Brazilian rider regain his top form. If there was anyone destined to fight through pain and overcome adversity, it was Amadeu. Friends like Marcelo Pereira never doubted Amadeu's ability to once again qualify for the PBR's marquee event through sheer willpower alone. "I was sure he would be more ready than ever to return to the PBR Premier Series this year and show all of his ability. This time at 100% after surgery on both shoulders," Pereira explained. But it wasn't his shoulders that would cause a freak accident. The August sun peeked over the horizon as Amadeu stirred awake, marking the start of his last day. In just 2 days, he'd be turning 23 years old, ready to celebrate another year pursuing his bull riding dreams. It was August 29th, 2021. He'd already defied so much, recovering from reconstruction surgery, enduring life abroad away from his Brazilian home. None of that dampened Amadeu's spirits as he tackled morning chores on the ranch where he lived and trained. The dusty work kept his mind calm. Amadeu could feel the electric anticipation in the air as he, his father Flavio, and fellow riders made the 7-hour trek to Fresno for the weekend bull riding event. Amadeu's infectious smile eased any lingering nerves amongst his traveling crew. He was back and ready to show off new skills. The smile remained as Amadeu greeted familiar faces at the arena. His inner joy radiated outward, earning compliments from everyone he encountered for his politeness and warmth. In the locker room, Amadeu suited up and spoke fervently in Portuguese with Flavio. Father and son embraced tightly, eyes glinting with pride for the battles ahead. In the bucking chutes, the atmosphere changed. A serious, quiet focus settled through Amadeu as he positioned himself atop the assigned bull, named Classic Man. Jaw clenched, gaze steely, there was no trace left of his usual light-hearted presence. The 1,500-pound beast stirred angrily below, ready to explode from the gates. With a quick hand signal and nod, the metal sides flew open. In a blur of spinning fits and flared nostrils, Classic Man erupted as Amadeu clung on tightly. The crowd roared, spurring the bull into wilder bucks and kicks. Horsepower and sinew strained furiously against one another. 5 long seconds passed before Amadeu lost his grip, flung violently into open air. As he reached to break his fall, freak tragedy struck. His foot snagged in the flank rope anchoring the protective vest around Classic Man's broad chest, trapping his movements and tangling him directly under the bull. In an instant, Amadeu was on the dusty ground, his chest perilously exposed. Even protective gear of helmet and vest guards are no match for direct impact of a 1,500-pound animal. Classic Man continued whirling as Amadeu struggled to get free from the rope. Heavy hooves hammered the dirt, searching for purchase, before Classic Man's back hoof collided with Amadeu's prone upper body. Time froze as the bull was quickly corralled, while emergency staff swarmed Amadeu's unconscious form. In the stands, Flavio looked on, praying his son would rise again and dust himself off as if nothing happened. But when the ambulance sped off without lights or sirens, the father knew his son's fight was already lost. Crippling heartbreak and anguish flooded through the man who'd proudly nurtured Amadeu's talent since childhood. Amadeu Campos Silva was immediately transported to Community Regional Medical Center in Fresno, where staff desperately tried reviving the wounded cowboy. One by one, life-saving efforts failed, until the staff retreated with heads hung low, leaving a grief-stricken rodeo family to say goodbye. Despite their best efforts, Amadeu succumbed to traumatic internal injuries that fateful August evening, less than 2 days shy of a 23rd birthday that would never come. Amadeu Campos Silva tragically died that evening, doing what he loved most. The last ride of a life taken far too soon. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you again in the next one.